Hi everyone, Gliz the Neoctano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Kee Glock album, Glockaveli, The Dawn. Kee Glock is a Memphis rapper who is recently coming off of his most successful record to date, and he is hitting us with another heaping helping of tracks on his latest here. Now, in regards to Kee Glock's style, his sound, his presentation, I don't know if there's a lot to say because he's the sort of artist where what you see is pretty much what you get. He is a steady and consistent spitter with a very great ear for beats. He gives us a lot of relaxed and very entrancing flows on his tracks. You know, think 21 Savage if he could come through with maybe a bit more oomph and swagger to his performances. And it also should be noted that this guy came into the game under the wing of his legendary and influential cousin, Young Dolph, of course through his Paper Route Empire Collective, and the two had collaborated frequently until Dolph's tragic murder in 2021. But if there is a silver lining to that very dark cloud, it's the fact that Glock has been riding a commercial high since the release of his last album, and has really been coming into his own artistically. With Glockaveli here, though, I will say for the most part, it does sound like he is running pretty much the same play that he did a few years ago on his breakout Glaucoma 2, the deluxe of which actually brought him even more attention. And yeah, in my opinion, I think there are most definitely pros, mostly pros, but still also cons to taking that approach on this new record. I mean, first of all, with this LP, there is very little in the way of versatility or growth to make note of, especially on the song structure side. Glock historically is not super big on hooks and choruses, and for the most part, he just kind of picks a hypnotic flow and a great beat to do his thing on top of, and then he just does it and ends things before any given track sort of starts to overstay its welcome. I mean, case in point, the deluxe edition of this album contains 21 entire songs, and in total it doesn't even pass an hour of runtime. And miraculously, we're also talking about a featureless experience on this record too, as Glock, once again, even with the increased fame and hype behind this new album, decided, yeah, I don't really need anyone else other than me to carry this record. But, you know, that decision has led to a lot of tracks on this LP that tend to kind of blend together. That is, unless Glock happens to drop a super funny or outlandish bar, or picks a beat that happens to bring a very bold or attention-grabbing sample, like with the great organ and string combo on The Grinch, the epic gospel touches on the opening track Hallelujah, furthermore the chill R&B flavored female vocal harmonies that paint the background of Made Away, or the track Sunny Days, which features a very simple but prominent and effective sample of Bobby Hebb's Sunny, which just sounds fantastic as the backbone of the song. However, not every sample on this record is super complimentary. Like, for example, on the song Blue Devil, we have a pretty obvious grab of some passages from Willie Hutch's Tell Me Why Our Love Has Turned Cold, which, if you're at all a rap fan, you will instantly recognize as already having been the backbone of the 3-6 Mafia classic Stay Fly. And while, sure, as a rapper, like, you can do that, that's your artistic choice, but I feel like fans are naturally going to compare the two songs in their head, especially given that the sample's kind of employed in much the same way. I mean, really to a less impressive degree in this instance. But yeah, honestly, I just don't really see what this song adds to the greater rap canon, given that we kind of already have a major classic doing pretty much exactly this. Beyond that, I'll say while I do think Glock's rapping and lyricism on this project is as charismatic and as solid as it was on his last record, I'm finding maybe a few less catchy moments here and there that aren't really sticking with me lyrically speaking after I'm done listening to the project. And once again, I found the overall flow of this album to be a lot like that of a compilation, with definitely there being highlights throughout, but there not really being much highs or lows or rhyme or reason, to my ears anyway, in terms of like why certain tracks are being placed in certain places. I mean, the closing track 3 AM in Tokyo, for example, I feel like literally could have been placed anywhere on the album and you would have had much the same experience with the record. I mean, if there is a major improvement or I guess like overall change to note with this record when comparing it to its predecessor. It's that I do think the production does tend to take maybe a bit more of a melodic, harmonious, and cinematic approach here and there. I think in terms of beat choices, Glock really wanted to show his softer side in some instances. However, this doesn't really coincide with a change in his rapping or lyricism in any way. So as a result, any shift in Glock's ethos as far as production choices go more or less feel like window dressing. So yeah, overall, while I did find Glockaveli to be a very simple, straightforward, solid, enjoyable project, super consistent, the record didn't really bring the increase in ambition or the widening of Glock's versatility or what I saw as his full potential on the last album at all, really. And I failed to see what this record brings to the table that his last didn't. It doesn't really function as a replacement. It does many of the same things, and I just see no reason to kind of go to this record after having heard it, knowing that I much prefer Glaucoma 2. With that being said, it's still very much worth a listen in my view, especially if you enjoyed anything he's done in the past, which is why I'm feeling a light to decent 7 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Kee Glock, forever.